want to say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right, thank you. Once again, we thank each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission in this way at this time. Forming a link and a bridge between our respective civilizations, our respective consciousnesses, creating a new third reality in which we can all grow, learn, and play. So we thank you for the gift of your sharing and allowing us to experience all of you in this way. We would like to begin this transmission with the idea we have titled The Mechanics of Channeling. And we would like to begin by first reminding each and every one of you that have heard this before, and those that have perhaps not heard this yet, that your personalities, what you consider yourself to be as a person, is a channeled entity. Because you are greater beings, spiritual beings, much larger than just this personality that you express yourself as in physical reality. So in a very real way, because it is an artificial projection, a limited projection, a slice, in a sense, of what you are as a larger being, this person you consider yourself to be, when you look in the mirror, is actually being channeled into physical reality from the greater being that you are. So channeling comes natural to all of you, in a sense. Of course, you can do different things with it. You can adjust it, tune it, to express it in a variety of different ways. The idea of the diagram that you have before you, that was downloaded for you, explains this a little bit like the idea of circuitry. We are dealing with energies, we are dealing with frequencies, resonance, and we will begin by saying that all of you have shaky brains. The idea being that your brains are quantum resonators. And being that they tap into quantum realities through resonance, resonant identification, matching frequencies on the quantum level that then get translated into your macroscopic reality, you can, while you are bringing through the vibration, the channeled vibration of your personality, also key into other levels of your own consciousness, other entities that also may choose to match your frequency or you to match theirs. And generally speaking, as a diagrammatic explanation, the way this occurs, at least from our point of view, in our involvement with you, is this way. First and foremost, as you can see, there is the idea of information coming in, whether that be from us or simply information that exists within the fabric of existence itself, doesn't matter. But the idea is that first and foremost it encounters what you call your collective consensus reality agreement. Always we will filter the information that we deliver to you through your consensus reality to make sure we are not spilling beans and letting cats out of bags running amok in your society with information that it is not appropriate for you, in your own estimation as a consensus reality, to know yet. So there will be imposed upon us a kind of filtering system that will block any information that may interrupt or intervene in a process that is inappropriate, to allow you the opportunity to experience the process you need to experience to arrive at the experience that you need to have regarding the themes that you are exploring in your life. Therefore, if there is something we should not tell you based on your consensus reality agreements, it is simply information we will not have access to, and we may not even know that we don't have access to it. It just won't be there. So what we bring through is always then, from our point of view, something that can be shared with you. Then the idea is that we will go from the consensus level reality, the consensus agreements, to your own individualized higher minds. And we will work with your non-physical higher minds, which is the other half of what you are as a person in physical reality. You have the physical mind and the non-physical higher mind working in tandem. This creates you to be a whole person with half of you, so to speak, just to use a euphemism, standing on the mountaintop and half of you in the valley below of physical reality. The mountaintop, non-physical part guiding you because it can see farther than the person in the valley can. So it will tell you, here's the path, go left, go right, walk straight, turn around, go back, go around. I can see the path. I'm guiding you. And the physical mind receiving that guidance and following along, ideally, that particular path by being in agreement, by being in harmony, by being in synchronous accord with the higher mind and functioning as a whole person. So we always work with the higher mind, again, to make sure that there is another filtering system in place that is going to deliver information to you that is appropriate for your physical mind, your physical personality to experience in the way that works best for you, delivered in that manner. Now, it's not always our job to deliver all that information to you. There are guides that you have. There are other beings you may be in contact with that you may know or not know about, who also have the job of delivering information to you in a variety of ways. As we have often said, one of the ways that is most often used by your guides is synchronicity itself, because they will often work best when they're using what's right in front of your face, the reality that you're already traveling through. And they can just give you the gentlest nudge instead of having to deliver an entire sermon in your mind to get you to turn when you need to turn and overhear what you need to overhear at just the right place and just the right time, and thus deliver the information that already exists in your reality along the path of least resistance. They allow themselves to be as unobtrusive as possible so as not to interfere with your process and your ability to be your own best guide by paying attention to those subtle signs that filter through. But as you can see, in terms of the channeling idea, the last level here is the personality itself. And at the very core of the diagram, you see that little circle that is divided into black and white that represents the positive and the negative belief systems within the personality structure. But surrounding that, you can see a circle that has bars running one way or another. The idea is that that is the filtering system, the energetic filtering system of your own personality structure, the artificial construct that you're channeling through, and it takes its orientation, the filter takes its orientation based on not only the themes you chose to explore, but based on either the positive or negative belief systems that are harbored within the personality structure. So down below, you can see that there are different states, different orientations that this filter can be in. The first one you see is where all information is allowed through, unimpeded, unfiltered, in a balanced way. The second you can see is a total blockage of that information, setting up a barrier for that information to bounce off, in a sense, or return where it came from, or not get through as clearly as it could. Then you can see the orientations that are represented by the idea of positive spin to the information or negative spin to the information. Again, the idea is to understand that this filter, this circle with the bars, is fluctuating and resonating all the time. It's not just standing still. It's going this way, that way, up, down, sideways, block, 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 let through, positive, negative, negative, positive, block, 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 let through. It's rotating all the time, very, very quickly, to determine what information needs to get through, is not wished to get through, is afraid you'll get through, is desired to get through, all these different kinds of things, again, taking their cue, not only from your theme of exploration, but from your positive and negative belief systems. Now, the idea of the orientation, positive spin up, negative spin down, as you see those two 45-degree angles, which is just a diagram representation. The idea there, however, is that that is actually representative of a false positive and a false negative. In other words, you can actually allow yourself to put a positive spin on something that is actually in a negative state. Or you can allow yourself to put a negative spin on something that might actually be representative of positive energy. For example, when people in your society are perhaps saying that anxiety is actually excitement, and they're covering up their fear-based beliefs with the idea putting the positive spin on it, that it's actually excitement and not paying attention to the negative beliefs, that's the false positive. Or the idea that your true excitement, that which really could be representative of being in alignment with your true self, is being given the negative spin of dampening down that excitement because of the fear of going forward in that direction. So the actual ideal channeling state is the first orientation where all the information flows through. And so really, ideally, you want that filter to not fluctuate very much at all. You don't want the positive spins up. You don't want the negative spins down. You don't want the blocks. You want it to be free-flowing so that all the information coming through, whether it's being presented in whatever spin, is coming from the source and not being filtered by the personality construct based on the belief systems. So allowing yourself to divest yourself of any negative belief systems, and also allowing yourself to remain relatively neutral about the information coming through, will allow that filter to remain, generally speaking, in an orientation that will allow the information through in the most unfiltered way possible. This is the ideal state. And when you allow yourself to balance yourself, your physical personality with the higher mind, then this circuit path follows this path of least resistance and brings through a full expression, not only of your own true personality that is most in alignment with the higher mind, that will allow you to move through life and explore your theme of exploration in the most balanced way possible, but then the idea of connecting to any other entity that might also be capable of delivering information through you can also be allowed to come through in a way that is the least impeded, the least obfuscated, the least spun, so to speak, so that it comes through clearly, comes through directly, in a neutral way, just being delivered for its own sake, and then leaving it up to you whether or not to absorb that in your life, incorporate that in your life, without coming through with any kind of spin of, this is the most amazing information ever, you shouldn't listen to any other information, or you should do what I say, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Those are the positive and negative spins. The idea is just let it be neutral so that you get to decide what is appropriate for you, so that you get to go through the process of taking that information and making it your own, so that you get to choose whether or not to match that frequency of that information and whether or not to decide it is true or not for you. Is this making some sense? So this is the basic circuitry of the idea. Again, coming from source, always going through the idea of the consensus agreement, which can change. Always going through the idea of the higher mind, which again, can change. Going into the physical personality, which obviously changes all the time. Based on the core ideas of the positive and negative beliefs that you hold to be true within you, and allowing that filter to spin and resonate in a way that is most representative of ideal balance, so any information that you need to access in your life from whatever source can come through in the most unfiltered way possible. How does that sound? All right. So, you can let yourselves, at your leisure, in another time, simply absorb these diagrams. You can see more from it when you meditate on it, when you focus on it, allowing yourself to crystallize this idea for yourself and see how these diagrams actually feel in your mind, in your higher mind, in your consensus. Allowing yourself to use these diagrams in a way to imagine the circuitry of the energy and the information passing through you, and allowing that filtering system to resonate at the proper quantum frequency to maintain that path of least resistance flow for the information coming through. Making that identification, making that synchronization, making that harmonization that works best for you. And allowing everyone else to do the same for themselves, because when everyone is allowed to be at that perfect resonant frequency, then you will all vibrate, you will all harmonize, you will all synchronize together through a vast ecstatic explosion of synchronicity in your life that shall expand and expand and expand and never stop until you explode. But that's fun. It's fun to explode in that way. You will explode into another version of yourself, and you will wonder where the old you went. Because you will truly be a new person, as you are every moment, But this idea will actually put you in touch with certain things going on in your neurological net to allow you a more visceral experience, a more physical experience of the fact that you're actually channeling your personality, and therefore you literally are a different person moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment as you feed through from a higher source of yourself all the information that it takes to construct this artificial personality you call yourself, which is only a temporary presentation, a reflection in a shard, temporarily glinting into your eye, glinting into other people's eyes, mercurial, chameleon, mimic, always changing, always new. You may think it looks the same, but it never actually does if you look closely enough. This diagram can help you understand how to see these things in a far more graphic and visceral way in your physical reality. So, take them in, use them if you wish. It's up to you. Or, if nothing else, you can put them in the bottom of your parakeet's cage and get some use out of the paper. So, we will thank you for allowing us to describe this idea to you this night of your time. Let it sink in. It will filter through you. And if you allow it to, it will help you make some of the adjustments that you would like to make in life with regard to who it is you consider yourself to be and what stories you are telling yourself that you believe to be true, so that you can change the story if it's not working for you. Because that's what you are. You're a story. So, in return for the gift that you have given us of allowing us to experience you in this way, I ask you now, in what way may we be of service to you? You may continue with your questions if you wish at this time.